Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review, episode 26. Strap yourselves in. We have got a jam-packed episode for you this week.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys. Of course, the wonderful one and only Super Sorrel, Ryan Speaks Geek. If you are watching on YouTube, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. And if you're listening to us on a podcast, then please do continue to download, share, etc., etc. All support is very much appreciated. So this is week 26. And of course, we've all got our helmets on because Super Sorrel has obviously received the brand new spanking looking Boba Fett from the Black Series. So me and Ryan felt a bit left out, so we just grabbed the nearest Hasbro helmet to us and just shoved that on for the sake of a bit of entertainment.
Gents, I'm going to share something very personal with you right now.
Go on, Em.
I don't think my head is too large for a lot of helmets. I'll be honest. I put this Ranger on, and it wasn't morphing time. It was just about wedged in time. I won't lie. I was praying to Saint Ruggle. I was struggling right there.
I was struggling this week when I was recording this thing because I was sat there going, how do I start this video? I was like, I'm playing with my helmet. Like, no, that sounds wrong.
You cannot introduce helmets without sounding wrong. Like, you cannot do it. Like, it was, hello, welcome to Geek Week. We are here with our helmets out. Like, we are.
Good afternoon. Here is my full head armor.
We have all got our helmets on show this week, and to be honest with you, you can't. I really love this War Machine. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is one of my favorite. I've got a few, but this is by far one of my favorites.
The Red Ranger one. I like this one. I mean, because it just about fits my head. The Pink Ranger only fits my wife's head, not mine, and she was really happy about that. But the White Ranger, I got my White Ranger helmet cancelled, so I've still got no.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the Lord Zed helmet though, because I think we can all agree that that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it does look. I must say, I wore that White Ranger helmet back at MCM 2019. Yeah, 2019. Because 20 was cancelled, wasn't it? But yeah, 2019. I remember seeing that at the Hasbro pack, like the Hasbro set.
Yeah. It's got
I've got a picture of me. Here. No, the white one, not the red one. The white one.
No, I'm just saying about the. Oh yeah, I haven't got the white one. I really want the white one. So if anyone's watching this, Ryan is going to put out a little plea. I will pay you real money, not Republic credits, not doubloons, real money.
But in all jokes aside, we have got an absolutely jam-packed episode this week.
So much stuff.
For what has been kind of not a dry spell, but things have obviously been a lot slower. We just had thing after thing after thing released this week or pop up on the internet. Now, obviously, because Spider-Man No Way Home is due to hit UK theatres in only a couple of days, it's coming out on Wednesday the 15th over here, and obviously comes out on the 17th elsewhere.
I'm not going to bother doing dances anymore. Ash is just upstaging me constantly.
Just taking it. But we have to quickly talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. There isn't you guys are just on one tonight. Have you spoken like ahead of it, like, right, let's get as many props as we can?
Let's make Jake's life as difficult as possible. Jake's babysitting us tonight, basically.
I'm trying.
Basically, I'm gonna yeah, so basically I've been at my parents all evening, and I've been drinking from about 7 o'clock onwards, so I'm gonna be about this evening.
We've got festive Sorrel this tonight. Yeah. No, but Spider-Man No Way Home, we do have to talk about that very briefly, just because we've spoken about all the theories and bits and bobs, but they keep pushing out the TV spots. They keep giving us bits and pieces. But there's one in particular that I do want to mention that I spoke to you guys about on Messenger, and that was the fact that we've had a kind of an edited trailer. So what we had originally was Spider-Man swinging through New York, and then recently we had a new version pop up, which has him swinging past the Rogers the Musical billboard, which obviously implies that Hawkeye and Spider-Man are taking place at similar times. So we have managed to link.
Yes, we have done it. Now, if anyone listening who listens on a regular basis will know, this is my cue to be like, I'm done with Spider-Man theories, blah, blah. But as I confessed to these guys earlier, I have gone full 360 because talking to one of my dear friends, Richard Thorne, earlier, I got into a spirited debate about Spider-Man and then realized now I'm so excited about Spider-Man because it's so near that I'm now talking more theories than ever. I've done it. I've gone full U-turn.
It's so close now. By the time we film the next episode, we all would have seen it. That's how insane. Like, I'm insanely excited.
Did you see Tom Holland's thing this week? It's been trending all over TikTok. He was on a talk show. I'm not sure which one it was, but he was on a talk show, and basically he says this film is a celebration of 3 generations. And then he stopped, looked to his left, and went, "What?" And then stopped dead. Obviously, it was staged for. It was when they do these things, they're staged for television, aren't they? Come on, let's be honest. They're staged.
Of course they are.
But yeah, they said that deliberately. They said that deliberately. No, because Tom Holland spoils, but when they when they do the whole, "Oh, can I not say that on television? Oh, I'm so sorry." That's fake as hell.
There was
Tom Holland's not that good an actor.
There was loads though. It's like
stuff like that.
But it's like when they when it was Spider Monday and he announced that the tickets were going on sale, and it was just Tom Holland, and he was like, right, and to promote this, I'm going to bring out 2 very, very special guests.
Yes.
And it was obviously, Ned and MJ, and they came out and were like, what? Of course it was going to be us. Like, it's so they're playing into it, massively playing into it. There was one interview though that came out. I don't know if you saw, and it was him talking about MJ's Zendaya doing her stunts for that scene where we see her falling.
Oh yeah.
And he talks about how he wasn't there for it, and he talks about like how good she was at doing it, and obviously, and he says something about like, oh, I wasn't there and stuff. But obviously, in the clip, we see Spider-Man reaching out for her.
A lot of
that
Andrew Garfield reaching out for that MJ.
A lot of people think it's Andrew Garfield redeeming himself for losing Gwen.
I kind of hope it's not.
It's that.
That's the one theory I've heard. I kind of hope it isn't. I just think it would be too cheesy. That's when I'd want to see it. If I'd seen it in 4K, that's when there would be the cheddar smells like coming. Oh, cheese! Oh, it's too cheesy. I just think that would be a bit too much. But Spider-Man is like hammed up and all the rest of it, so it would work, and I'm sure it'd be done really well.
My big 360 about it has made me go like, when I've been thinking about it, like in the last like 3 or 4 hours in my massive U-turn I've had. It's good. The reason they got me thinking about it, because I'm having this debate with someone who doesn't really watch a lot of like Marvel. It watches the Marvel films when he can. He's got like 2 kids, and it's really difficult and stuff like that. It was a bit older when the first 3 Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man trilogy came out. So he's really very solidly Tobey Maguire. We both agreed on Andrew Garfield being amazing, and my feelings on Tobey Maguire. Love the films, but
nice pun there.
Thank you very much.
Andrew Garfield being amazing.
Oh yeah. Here all week. But then he doesn't like Tom Holland, and I'm not a big Tobey Maguire fan. So we got into this big debate about it in this discussion. But it was funny because it was like we had this big discussion about it, and I realized like that's how wonderful this whole thing is about. So I've been, as you know, very anti like let's keep talking about Spider-Man has linked to everything. I'm sick of things linking to things. But you know what, this conversation made me U-turn because I realized here I am like a proper diehard Marvel fan and proper Marvel cinematic fan. We talk about it so in depth every week, and we talk about the theories and stuff like that. And I was talking to someone who's not even seen all the films and stuff like that. But I was able to, when I was a child, like we've all discussed when we were kids that we didn't have a lot of people to talk to about our sort of superhero interest with. And here I am now in 2021, and I'm talking to someone who's only seen a handful of these films and going, I'm having a proper debate about Spider-Man and what it might mean and what it might be linked to with someone who's not even watched all these things. I'm thinking like, this is someone who probably should have been taking my lunch money, and now I'm talking like theories and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And it was a little bit of a moment. I was just like, actually, do you know what? The power of, I know Martin Scorsese, like sort of, really poo-pooed old superhero films and stuff like that. But you know what? Superhero films can bridge generations. They can bridge gaps, and the linking about things from the past and the future, not just the MCU, but bringing links to the stuff from like the 90s, the 2000s and stuff like that. Linking it all together is actually, I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong. I think it's wonderful, and I'm. Do you know what? Theory me sideways. I'm ready to hear it. Bring it on.
You know what? The one thing that I'm really hoping, I really do hope that the 3 of them are in it. I think it's a safe bet that they are. Like, I think that it's a pretty safe bet that they are. But for me, I kind of realized that I don't have a specific favorite. Like, Keith Lemon mentioned on that Spider-Man video when he talked about his favorite Spider-Man, and he said, "Oh, my favorite Spider-Man is Spider-Man," and I thought it was quite funny at the time. But the more I thought about it, I just thought, you know what? I'm actually of the same mind. If I had to pick which of the 3 films I preferred, or 4 if you include the Miles Morales stuff, I'd be really hard pushed to actually pick a favorite, just because I love Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man for me takes me right back to when I was younger than some of my kids, and so just the idea of just having them all there, that it's just awesome. Like it's just really, really cool.
I'm really hoping that if the other 2 guys are in it, that it comes back around to that age-old phrase of great power comes great responsibility. I hope that is a thing in the movie, and that you hear it like you hear Tobey Maguire say it to Tom Holland, and then later on in the film it rings like he hears it again, he's not there, so I think he hears it in his head. With great power comes great responsibility, Peter. And he has to do something that keeps him away from the rest of the MCU. And like you say, like ages ago, like he locks himself in some alternate Spider-Verse that's going to be Sony's baby to take on going forward. Because like you say, he's been slowly working his way further from home with each episode. He's now far from home. And I'm just waiting for the bit now in the film where something happens that locks him away and says we're going to be getting a different load of films with Spider-Man now.
Well, he's definitely signed up for another 3, isn't he?
Yes,
he's definitely up to another 3. So, Ryan, we keep losing your pitch, mate.
We keep losing your end. Did you see Sabrina Carpenter?
I'm here in spirit. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm trying to change the settings, but I'll always be with you with that responsibility and the great power, all of it. I'm right there.
Did you see that Sabrina Carpenter today has been announced that she's... Oh, Ryan's gone pink.
Ryan, this is the kind of thing you should be doing before we're actually recording. But you do you, mate. You do you.
That's funny. Did you see that Sabrina Carpenter has been announced as a part of the Spider-Man franchise going forward? They said Spider-Man franchise. They didn't say MCU. They said Spider-Man franchise.
Okay.
And she's 23 years old, blonde. She was part of the Disney kind of group and the Nickelodeon group growing up. So she's a little bit younger than Tom Holland. So she's either going to be Spider-Gwen or some form of Gwen Stacy. She's blonde and pretty and fits that role.
I love the way you said that. It was like Bullseye. People who are in a different country, Bullseye is like a dart show in the UK. They used to bring out prizes she's blonde, she's 23. Bring her out, lads. Bum, 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 bum.
Well, I was looking at it thinking, who else is she going to play? You know what I mean? I was trying to think of what other characters could she be playing. And the only thing I can think of is either Spider-Gwen or Gwen Stacy in Tom Holland's universe.
I think Spider-Gwen, a live-action Spider-Gwen would
Spider-Gwen
be
is
a good move.
And the fact that she's only 23 means she's got time to grow into the character, become her own thing before she takes the franchise herself, sort of thing.
I don't think they were prepared how actually popular she was going to be from Into the Spider-Verse. I think that really, I do genuinely think, because even if you think of the merchandising from Into the Spider-Verse, I don't think the Marvel realized actually how popular, how much of an impact she was going to make. I mean, she's an amazing character, but think about it. She has exploded onto the scene from that film. Now she's in the kids show, and my again the person I was around today that we had this conversation with, his son is obsessed with Spider-Man, but he knows it as Spider-Gwen. He said Spider-Man and other Spider-Man, which is so it's Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, and then Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and Peter Parker Spider-Man, the all blue and red is other Spider-Man.
Other Spider-Man,
Technically,
she's really bizarre thing.
Sorry, technically she's not Spider-Gwen anymore, is she? They have changed it. She's now Ghost Spider. They gave her a new name about a year ago, didn't they? We all still call her Spider-Gwen, but she is technically Ghost Spider now.
So I Baby Yoda, though. Grogu has a name, but it's still Baby Yoda.
It is still Baby Yoda, yeah. I still call him Baby
Yoda. I remember reading the comic books when she first kind of came out and just sort of thinking, okay, this is a cool twist. It's kind of I saw it very much in the sort of the same kind of thread as the what if stories, as in this, Gwen Stacy is a story about Gwen Stacy becoming Spider-Man and that. And I enjoyed him at the time, but I never in a million years thought that it would become the popularity of the character would come that it has, which I'm really cool. I think it's good that we've got a girl spider, for little girls to look at and, to kind of seen himself in that. I think and she's an awesome character. She's got some different powers. She's got some, she's got an amazing suit. Let's be honest, it's a really, really cool suit. So I'd love to see a live action, like an MCU Sonyverse version of her, hands down.
I think it's ready. We're ready for it.
Yeah. I've got a feeling if they do her in the MCU, I've got a feeling she'll be accompanied by Miles Morales. I think her and Miles will share a universe kind of thing. As much as they were a part of different universes back in the day, from what I've seen from the recent comics and the recent stuff, it always seems to be that they're in the same universe now.
They come hand in hand.
Yeah. I'm going to do what I've always vowed I would never do. Would it be if it was the Into Spider-Verse versions that come through a portal, like we saw in the trailer Into Spider-Verse? Was you thinking the same? This is the problem. Yeah. Jake's got me thinking like him. Like Jake's been.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, at the end of that film, Ghost Spider and Miles Morales zip off, and then the after credit scene is a live action after credit scene of them entering the MCU. Can you imagine that?
Like an animated Tom Holland and Tom Hardy coming into the Spider-Verse.
Opposite way around. Imagine if the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, it's an animated segment where Tom Holland enters the Spider-Verse.
As does Tom Hardy.
Oh, we could go off on theories. We could go off. But the truth is by the time we film next week's episode, it is going to be a hugely heavy Spider-Man No Way Home episode. That's going to be the main one. I mean, for me, Wednesday is massive because we've got Hawkeye episode 5 coming out and we've got Spider-Man No Way Home. So I do apologize to our American listeners and those outside the UK because we will be seeing it on the 15th and we will not be holding back.
Spoiler alert ahead, won't we? We'll do the nice thing. We'll be gracious. We'll give it.
To be fair, by the time our podcast goes out, it will be out in America. So at the time of recording,
it will be out.
At the time of recording, it'll even be out in America, won't it? It comes out on Friday in America. Yeah, so
it comes out on
Wednesday, but our podcast will obviously not be too spoilery because obviously it will be out in America by the time of recording. I debated doing like an extra episode following it. I'd be up for that on it Thursday, Mark.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I'm on the fence.
I'm free Thursday. I'm free.
I'm on the fence. Let's discuss. There might be a Spider-Man No Way Home special episode. A holiday special, if you like. Speaking of holiday specials, let's take a sideways turn because obviously we saw that link to Hawkeye with the Rogers the Musical, and we obviously had another episode of Hawkeye, which I think is the best episode so far.
Good
hands
episode.
Down. Hayley Steinfeld is incredible in that role, absolutely incredible in that role, and I just think she goes from strength to strength to the extent where I think that, and I love Jeremy Renner. See, I picked that up from last week. Jeremy Renner's.
It's done now. It's in your head.
It is done. But Jeremy Renner's version of Clint Barton, I absolutely love him. He's one of my favourite. You're right, Cyril. Cyril's got to jump. He's one of my favourite characters that I absolutely love. Hawkeye. And right from his very first inclusion into the MCU, I was a massive fan.
However, I can actually attest to that because we talked about the very first Avengers film when it came out, and we talked about Hawkeye because we obviously I'm a massive fan of like the '90s cartoon. Yeah, when he was in his original cosplay outfit, his full laugh outfit. But yeah, I remember that you've always been a big Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, there was just something about him. Just someone I don't know. I really don't know what it is. It's just. I'm a massive fan of
human
superheroes.
Average man about it. I mean, because the thing about Hawkeye,
I think
he's like the everyday man, and I guess it's the humbleness of it. Like other superheroes, it's like, I have a power, I have a responsibility, and not to sound too taken, but he's actually a man with a very particular set of skills. But he's also, but like yourself, he's a family man. He's got a big family, and he's got to balance that, and but also like the other people in those teams. Yeah, I guess you don't. There's a friendship element with him because he's so much more relatable. Maybe it's because Black Widow is his best friend. That's his lifelong friend, but not just a friend as in like we're friends on a team. Like she knows his family. Like she's one of the only ones that knows his family. So I guess do you think that's probably why you relate to him so much?
Yeah, I think so. I think the family element to his character is definitely relatable. I don't know. It's just saying always. I mean, I was never a huge Batman fan. Like I know that some people are like massive Batman fans. Like not Batman as in no, but I don't mean like I love the Batman kind of franchise and the stories. But I mean, as the character, the kind of Bruce Wayne being a millionaire, being able to do his stuff. I always favored Tony Stark over Batman, but the pair of them kind of bunching them together, I liked it, but it wasn't relatable. It's like, okay, you've made this character that's human, that's, you know, just the everyday man, but you've given them an ungodly amount of money to build what they build. Whereas Hawkeye, for me, was kind of like, you know what, he's just very, very good at what he does and very relatable. And I don't know, I've just really liked him. But with that said, I think that Hayley Steinfeld's doing such a good job with Kate Bishop. If Clint Barton wasn't in the rest of the series, I wouldn't be upset, if that makes sense. I would take that. I don't want to see him exit before the end, but
she's proved herself, I think she's a leading lady in her own right, sort of thing.
Straight away, yeah. Even just within these 4 episodes, that she can carry that mantle. And I was skeptical when I first saw that they were kind of, you know, the time was coming with all of them, wasn't it? You know, they were all going to kind of hand over the reins. And I was a bit skeptical to start with. And I was like, I knew that was the direction it was going to go. It was obviously going to go down the Kate Bishop route. But yeah, just from that very first episode, I was sold. And I was like, you know what, this is something that I can definitely get behind.
I'm sorry, go on. I have to say, I was done. This is the one of all the sort of the hand downs. Like, so obviously I absolutely adore the whole the Falcon Winter Soldier thing. Like, I think that was an incredible series about Falcon becoming the Winter Soldier, and obviously bringing especially like the sort of the racial element into it. Like, you know, it was really powerful. It was a really big message sort of series, and it was really sort of on the nail of like what's going on in the world today. It was really sort of it was powerful, it was relevant, it was really beautifully done. This one, I have to say, this is like a passing of the torch. That, I mean, just going back to what we were talking about when sort of Astro stuff, it's the relatable bit. I don't know why, but this one just seems so much more like a personable thing. This doesn't seem like a big issue type thing. This seems actually like a really personal, small story.
I think
in a series.
Helps. Yeah, I think it helps that we're all blokes and we're all about that age, and it's a case of he's handing the reins over to a girl that's in need of a father figure. And I think obviously me and Jacob especially probably feel that, having daughters in our lives, sons, wherever, having kids. You feel that, don't you? Like they're looking up to you for assistance and help and guidance, and you just want to protect them, look after them, and help them. I think it has 100%. That element to it. It has that.
It's that thing about legacy, like because obviously you guys have got kids and everything like that, and like I'm desperately trying to have kids, and like it's one of those things, and it is about a legacy thing. It's about what you leave behind, and there's a weird thing where with Hawkeye, the series, it's like he's not wanting his kids or his family to be the next Hawkeye. It's like that's a separate thing. He wants to get home to his family, but actually there's this independent person who's seen Hawkeye as a hero that he doesn't see himself as. He sees himself as someone who's just done a job, and then when things got hard, he did his job in a different way. Like, you know, the stuff, the revelation with he finally kind of confesses about, she says about your own and spoiler alert. But you know, says that yeah. But
what I tell you what else is nice though, is that he's very reluctantly passing the torch to her. He doesn't want to get her involved. They're not partners, they're not friends, all that kind of stuff, which I think that the writing of the actual series, when it gets to that moment where he kind of does give her the acknowledgement that she's looking for, it will be such a brilliant moment. Speaking of the family element, the whole thing with the watch. Have you got any theories on the whole thing with the watch? Because I think it's Iron
Man's watch.
No, I don't.
You know, I think it's. Do you remember in, I forgot which film it is, where Winter Soldier attacks Iron Man. He fires the gun. Iron Man's got the hand and it's got the watch, and the thing comes out the hand. And it stops the bullet because it's Iron Man's glove. I've got a feeling that's going to be that, and I think that watch has been. I think Iron Man had something where he told Hawkeye maybe or someone, make sure that gets to so and so, and that's going to be obviously Ironheart. I think he's already planned. I think he's already planned who it goes to. So she's going to put that watch on, and the suit's going to appear on her.
I think it's going to be a lot more personal than that.
Do you think? Who do you think?
Oh, what do you go for? Because we might have different theories, actually. Go on.
I think it's a standard watch. I don't think there's anything special about it at all. I think that it's a present from his wife. And it got lost in the Avengers compound, and when he finds out that it's still there, it's like an anniversary present or something like that. And the only reason I say that is because I've got gifts from like my wife that are engraved and stuff. And what the bit that swung it for me is that when Kate Bishop picks it up, there's also the notepad that's got all of his family written down. And straight away I was like, because their names are engraved on the back of the watch. Like that was where my head went straight away. And I don't know if that, that it just seemed like, how would she know that information? He's done so much to keep that side. Like even the Avengers didn't know he had a family, and they're the people he's working with. So why would some villain that we've never seen before, that's got, that's being introduced in this story, why would she have the ability to pick up who his family are and stuff? Unless
now, I won't lie, that was actually pretty solid. I really like that.
But I just think it ties in with the heart of it all as well, doesn't it? And the only reason I picked up on it is I've got a watch that's got an engraving on the back, and so as soon as I didn't think it until I saw the name, I was like, if someone found my watch, they would have that information. If that makes sense. So that was. I might be massively wrong.
You think he's got the names and then like the year of birth or something? Because like she had the year of birth as well, didn't she? She had like age 14, age 16. She had like the numbers. Yeah,
but she could have found that out by just getting the names. Like if she knew that watch belonged to Clint Barton and there was just literally the first names on the back of it. Because the other thing as well is when he's going off and going to different planets and stuff like that, if he's wearing the watch and their names are on it, he's got on with him. It's just that just that relatable element. And I think that's why I've enjoyed it so much, because there are parts of it that I'm going, oh my God, like that's what I've got, or oh my God, that's something that I'm. So that's, I might be massively wrong. But that's
my theory might be really overthought now, because I won't lie. I like your theory better than mine.
The watch belongs to Hank Pym, and inside it is the entire compound.
No. Although that one actually, wow, okay,
that'd be that's an
interesting one.
My
Avengers
theory
compound
is that Mephisto. No, I'm joking. Sorry, I couldn't
Mephisto is back.
No, I actually, my thought was, I went with Nick Fury. I thought that we were going to see Nick Fury because he's meant to be dead, obviously, and he's not, and all that stuff. And I thought maybe it was about a very dear friend, and I thought that maybe the end of the series would be Nick Fury meeting the new Hawkeye and Jeremy Renner saying like, I am done, but like this is who I've chosen to be Hawkeye, and that's what I sort of went with. But I'll be honest, I'm now not as keen on that because I like your one.
I just think the other thing as well is his wife. What's her name? Laura as well. Why is she so involved in the watch? Like, why is she messaging him saying, the alarm's gone off on the watch is there or whatever? Do you know what I mean?
But I guess because
but then why would there be a tracker on it?
Natasha are. But like also, that's one thing I realized about the series. I know it sounds stupid, but like, it's not like for one, it's not like the wife is useless at home, blah blah blah. It's not like 1950s. He actually messages his wife and be like, "I need help with this, blah blah blah." And the wife's like, she's so up on everything. She knows everything that's going on. She's sending help. She knows how to speak on the phone when the kids are around to give him the information without telling that he's in trouble. It's all this.
It's wicked.
I just thought it was like she is a proper. It's sounds stupid. It's nice to see a decent superhero marriage on the TV. Like, it's not like some horrible disaster thing. It's not the Tony and Pepper weird thing, because let's be honest, that's weird. But I love that.
I'm not sure if it means anything, but just one of the things that I picked up on when they talk about the watch in that episode, his wife speaks German to him. I know that Kevin Feige is a beggar for putting little Easter eggs and things in. She speaks German of all languages. Why German? She speaks German to him.
Yeah,
not Russian. Because like obviously the whole thing about it would have been more funny if she spoke Russian to him, because obviously with the Russian mafia and the Russian bad guys and stuff in it. But she speaks German, which is the language of Hydra. Just an FY, just a thing. That's another thing. Just to kind of put a thing in.
That's not bad shout.
Isn't there a Peggy Carter series coming? I heard down the grapevine.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a Peggy Carter series.
No, they've released a Captain Carter comic book. She's officially been made into a comic book character.
I thought I heard there was a series. Maybe I misread the post I saw, but
yeah,
a Captain Carter series.
I don't know if it's the same thing that you saw, but they teased it with like a picture of the Shield, and then it turns out that she's getting her own run of comics. So she's becoming canon, basically.
Some people online were also saying maybe if it's something to do with Mockingbird, and we're all thinking a Man's Watch. What if it's Mockingbird? Because she's off doing something in Madripoor. She's deep undercover. We all think she's a villain at this point, but then she helped Winter Soldier and Falcon in the series.
Yeah.
Is this the way of tying the two series together?
Well, they've obviously got a massive link as well in the comic book. So Mockingbird and Hawkeye.
So a lot of people think it could be Mockingbird as well, that he's trying to save her undercover.
They were married in the comic books.
They were,
weren't they? Of course they were. I'm totally thinking just strict MCU here. But she's so she's
could he be protecting her being undercover in Madripoor? Something to do with that watch?
The most
link.
Difficult point about all of this. We're doing these big theories. All these theories would have to be proved in 2 episodes.
I know, 2 episodes.
So whatever happens, I mean, the watch might be one of those things that doesn't get resolved this season, because I mean, that's a lot of story to resolve in 2 episodes.
Unless it is just a gift from his wife.
Yeah.
And of course,
we've
only just been obviously introduced to Yelena. We're still expecting Kingpin potentially to drop in this series. We're still expecting a lot more to go on.
I don't think he's coming in.
Bringing it back to Spider-Man No Way Home, right? So linking it in, let's just think, right? So Spider-Man No Way Home, the trailer introduces Rogers the musical, right? So we know that No Way Home and Hawkeye take place along some kind of similar timeline. Now, musicals can run for 20 odd years, if you think of things like The Lion King and that, but let's work on the assumption that because there's Rogers the musical on all the billboards, it's working out at the same type of time. Now, who's rumored to be in Spider-Man No Way Home? Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
Yeah,
that is true.
Therefore, who could be rumored to be in Hawkeye?
Kingpin.
Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
No,
Kingpin.
Come on.
Kingpin.
Yeah. So Netflix Kingpin. So you got Netflix Daredevil in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
You've got Rogers the musical linking them both to the same timeline, and then you've got Netflix Daredevil that film.
Can I just remind you all that in Spider-Man No Way Home, we're also going to get a cameo from Photon. I'm just putting that out there that she is still in the MCU and she's still a thing from Scarlet Witch. She is in No Way Home. They have already told us this information.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was announced ages ago. Well, when Scarlet Witch first thingied, Photon is linked.
So many theories.
Photon is linked between Spider-Man No Way Home, which is also in the Multiverse of Madness. Spider-Man is also apparently in the Multiverse of Madness. All these stories are meant to interlink somehow by the end of it.
We've been looking at Wong, and it might be Photon. That's
it. Photon is still in the background somewhere doing something.
She is the link. She is a missing link in them all.
And she's also the one that's linked in, obviously, with the Marvels, Mrs. Marvel, the Marvels, Marvel Adventures Marvels. She's in that film as well.
Presents.
Marvel Studios presents the Marvels.
Say Marvels
there is
again,
there is so much to get through. So let's move on from MCU. The only other thing, obviously, to mention is what we were talking about earlier, and that's the fact that Thor: Love and Thunder has had kind of an official, unofficial release with the poster leak. I did do a video on it, so it is up online if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's kind of gone around the internet, and we've got our first look at various different bits and pieces from Thor: Love and Thunder. My favorite bit out of it, I'm sure you guys have seen the poster as well, is you've got Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher, the two goats, at the front and the center of that poster. So they're definitely staying with a comedic element. And you've got Korg with what looks to be a stuck-on mustache, which is quite cool.
Can I ask a question?
Go on.
I don't know about the goats. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of Thor comic lore at all. I really don't.
It's also in the mythology as well. I'm not going to tell you. You go read it. It'll interest you more.
Oh, okay. So we've been fucking going like super Spider-Man spoilers, talking in depth. It's like, oh, do you remember that issue 365 of the 1990 Spider-Man, and that one guy who was in 3 frames of the 19 series? This bit, I asked a genuine question, and it's sort out yourself.
It's no. I will revisit it, but I don't want to visit it this early on because it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out until way down the line. You see it now, Cyril?
Yeah. I've just, when you said about the mythology, like the mythology bit, I quickly Googled and yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know who they are now.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. It's a very, very cool thing. So to see them is really cool. So it's easy to look up. It's easy to. He's actually gone. But it is actually very easy to look up. So anyway, but I have done a video on that. There's so many websites and stuff are picked up on the poster, and it's kind of been officially kind of released now. So there are high def versions of it as well. So let's move on. Let's take a real sideways away from Marvel, and let's just go on to Star Wars for a little while, because I think we have to.
If you Google Thor goats, I'm there.
You got it. See that? You see why I don't want to say it now.
And if anyone's an absolute mug like me, then just Google Thor goats.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Live on the video.
There you go. There you go.
Thor's goats.
There you go. You're welcome. Right, but so last time we spoke, show we were on last week, we literally were into the final hours of the Rancor, the Haslab Star Wars 6-inch Black Series project, and it was thousands of people away from being backed. They threw in extra tiers, and drum roll, please.
I'm just looking for mine, and it's not here.
It didn't get backed. It did not get backed. But interestingly,
I made the video talking about it, and I said, you throw me a Rancor keeper in, and I'm in there, and then 10 hours, like an hour later, they threw the Rancor keeper in. Just saying.
How funny would it have been if that parcel you got from Hasbro wasn't a Boba Fett helmet? Instead, it was just a turd. Just like you said you'd back it and you didn't. So here's a dump. But no. In all fairness, though, what I thought was really funny is that because I think we all shared the picture of how the backers went down to like 800 people.
Dropped drastically.
But the reason being, and I know why this is because I did a little bit of research, is because they cancelled the pre-orders. But for some reason, there was like 800 odd left on there. So what was the sort of the final chapter of the Rancor kind of, story arc, because they had cancelled all the orders off, but there was these 800 odd that were left on. Obviously, people woke up in the morning, checked where it was, and it looked like kind of 8,000 people had pulled out at the last minute, when I don't think it was as brutal as that. I think it was because they cancelled it all. But obviously, it's a real blow to kind of have those screenshots out there, because it made it look bad. I'm really disappointed it didn't get backed. I mean, it wasn't a project for me to back. But I am disappointed that it didn't get backed, because it now joins the ranks of the Cookie Monster. Like one of you said, like it's literally failed Haslab projects, Cookie Monster, Rancor.
I don't think it will stay there for long. I think they just need to go away, rethink it, reevaluate it, bring it back next year with some new tiers. They can very easily do it. If they just, a lot of fans have said it. We want it, just not with those things that you've announced it to come with.
Yeah.
If they do some slight tweaks and do that campaign a little bit better, not around Christmas when we're all skint, do it at some point during February once we've recovered financially from Christmas. More people will back it. I'm telling you.
I think it's been a good learning experience for Hasbro. And I think that's the thing. That's what we should take it as. I mean, this is the thing. People have got to remember, Hasbro are a big company, and we joke about it sometimes, but we would not have this sheer amount of plastic we do in our houses, in our place.
Oh no,
they do.
I'm a
so
huge
much
Hasbro fan.
And that's the thing. I think we're one of the few probably chats that speak very positively about Hasbro on a regular basis, because they do great quality stuff. I've talked about the Transformers line till I'm blue in the face, Marvel Legends. They just do so much right. And even with Star Wars, they do some of the most incredible things. They really do. And they give us these big universes that we can have in our homes. But, I think that people are too quick to jump on when they make a faux pas, but don't give them the credit to go, right, okay, this one will chalk it out to. The problem is they tried to fix the mistake a bit too late in the game with the Rancor Keeper. Like you said, I think it was Ash, you might have said, or Jake, one of you said about the G.I. Joe one, where they put the tiers straight out in the beginning. If they'd done that, they could have gauged sooner what people's reaction to those tiers would have been, and gone, okay, only a few weeks in, they could have gone, everyone's reaction to the tiers is awful. We're adding these extra things in. But actually what happened was they unlocked the tiers really late in the game, and then realized people weren't happy with them, and then tried to add a Rancor Keeper right at the end, when actually they should have gone, if they'd released them all at the beginning and gone, people don't like these tiers, they could have gone Rancor Keeper, then Ula, and then they could have really done some sort of proper sort of patchwork maybe or something. But I think
you know what
good
I think a lot of
experience.
people don't realize is that yes, it's all Hasbro, but each of these brands are run by completely different teams.
Oh, yeah.
They've got different design people, different marketing people, different, production people and stuff. So they're all very different teams. So you can't compare the Rancor to the Sentinel, and you can't compare the Sentinel to the what's it, the Tomcat, the GI Joe one, or the GI Joe one to the Proton Pack. You can't compare them. Yes, they are all Hasbro, but they're all run independently as different teams. So I think it's just very unfortunate. I think that you're right. I think if the Black Series team go away and they kind of go, you know what, we rethink it and come back with it, I think they'll do it. My personal opinion would be that they have to really get it right, because if they re-released it and it flopped, that would look really bad.
Personally, I think they're going to go away, scale it down, and I think it'll become a 3¾ inch vintage collection. I think they will give us a playset attached to it, because they were already thinking about the cardboard cutout thing. They could put a plastic base in, put the cardboard around it, put the Rancor at a smaller scale, and still give us the Rancor Keeper, all the same tiers, but just in 3¾ inch. People would buy it up, and on the card back,
they were really smart. They would do a lid that you could put the vintage collection Jabba throne on. Yeah.
Oh,
see,
nice.
Hasbro, you heard it.
My guess is that they're going to go back. They're going to come up with new tiers, and they're going to throw everything in that they already promised as standard. So all the things that we've seen, they're going to go, you know what, we're re-releasing it. Everything that we announced is going to come as standard. And then the tiers are Ula and X, Y, and Z. Because all of the figures that they were including are re-releases anyway, aren't they? Apart from the Rancor Keeper.
Yeah. The only thing is, like a lot of, because I was talking about, like, give us Ula. I kept banging on about it because I want Ula. But a lot of people said Disney and Star Wars and the companies in general are staying away from Ula, Slave Leia, because of the slave connotation. They don't want to write those. They don't want those things anymore. They want to try and under carpet that thing. So I don't know.
Just give her a lightsaber. Just put a lightsaber in her packet and just it'll be fine. But I think that's my theory.
The thing is, they are showing that like slavery is bad. It's not like they're advertising going slavery.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
It's like they're showing it's bad, and therefore the villain Jabba gets killed because of it, because he's a scum. It's
but you can't. Listen, we know that. We know that as fans, but you get the kind of the standard viewer that doesn't know anything about the franchise or the story, and they kind of go, look at this toy company. They're making Mr. Potato Head on one side, and then they're making slaves on another side. Like, oh, they're bad. Let's boycott them. And in this cancel culture, unfortunately, you've got to really tread carefully. So I do 100% understand why they've stepped away from that. But if
we do see her, she'll be renamed. It won't be just Ula. It will be like Jedi escaped Ula, or like when they were gonna redo Slave Leia, they called her the Hutt Slayer. They have to give them a new name now, a new connotation, a new story. They have to do.
Just call her like Rancor food or something. The Rancor snack.
Rancor chow Ula.
Obviously, we're all saying about the Rancor and the tiers. But did we see that Ghostbusters actually made it at 18,000 backers now, and they only wanted 7? And their tiers are stickers. And
mate, I'm not gonna lie, I hovered on that button for a long time. I was really, really close to backing it, just because I think it's going to be incredible. If it wasn't this time of year, I would have done it, but I just couldn't justify that as an extra outgoing with all the Marvel Legends stuff as well. I couldn't justify it.
I do think that's a really bad show on Hasbro's point. Again, I love Hasbro, but like, I do think putting all those, please send me stuff like the others. But the joking aside, like, I do think, I'll be honest, I think it was a bad show on Hasbro to put so many Haslabs at Christmas.
Yes.
Like, if they started the Haslabs at Christmas and they took the money in February or the end of January, I do think it would have been better. I do think, like, it's just common sense. Like, I know not everyone celebrates Christmas, but the majority of the world does, and especially the majority of the places they're really sort of championing for, like, these Haslab things. It's like, but not just put one, but to put several Haslabs that finish in the middle of December. It's just like, because even if I wanted to, I genuinely could not afford at Christmas to put that much. It's not even a small amount of money. It's a large amount of money to something like that. And I think February, I'd be more inclined to go like, oh, maybe actually, because Christmas is out the way. January, I've cleared the Christmas debt. February, I'm going to put some money down.
I think the reality is that you look at that proton pack, for example. It's a Ghostbusters proton pack replica. Doesn't even come with a wand, and they've got 18,000 people willing to pay that money at this time of year. So the time of year, unfortunately, they're never going to kind of go, oh yeah, let's put it back a couple of months. They've obviously got targets and things to meet. So
my thing has
always
been,
they could have got 25,000-30,000 if it was in February.
My thing has always been, though, because obviously the Sky Striker and the Proton Pack only got the backings after Rancor failed.
Yeah.
Would they have succeeded? Would they have succeeded if Rancor had succeeded? If Rancor had have achieved by say 15,000 people backed it, would those same numbers be on the Proton Pack and the Sky Striker? Because as we all know, most of us are multiple franchise collectors, and that was the point of the video that I put out. Like, there's so many things going on right now to back, but as somebody like me who collects a little bit of everything, I couldn't possibly put £400 down for a Ghostbusters Proton Pack, the Sky Striker. I've just paid out for the Razor Crest. I've just paid out for a Sentinel, and now I've got to pay out for Galactus. And now you want me to back a Rancor? 6 items.
Yeah, but also the Proton Pack isn't 400, is it? It's 550 because you've got to get that. You've got to get that wand. No, it's 400, and then you've got to get the wand. So it is a much higher. Like, if I was going to go and get it, and I think that's the one thing that stopped me, is that because it's not a line that I heavily collect. I just dip in and out of. If I had the wand already, which I probably would have if it was my main line, then it's not so much of a thing. But if I was kind of the casual collector and going, you know what, I'm going to back this, that was literally the thing that stopped me. I was like, I can't justify spending $550. I can't justify spending 400 on it, but I couldn't justify spending that extra 150 to complete one thing, if that makes sense. It'd be like back in the Sentinel, but buying the legs elsewhere. Like, I don't know. So other Star Wars news though, we had the vintage collection.
We did
3/4 inch little play packs. So what was the official terminology for those? They're like little accessory set kind of
really
things.
Give them a name. They're just kind of dropped. And
I would go for mini scenes, because I would go for the own mini scenes.
I'd go for the Grogu series because they all featured Grogu. It was like you buy three.
Not the Navarro one.
3.
Navarro didn't. Yeah, Navarro was the only one that didn't.
Is that the big gun?
Yes, you've got the Navarro Stormtrooper was the one with the big gun. Then you've got Ahsoka and Grogu, which is the forest scene, and then the Incinerator and Grogu, which is basically the Incinerator Trooper and Grogu.
That was my favorite one. That was my favorite one because he's got his little hands up, and there's just so many picture opportunities. Can you imagine like the picture of doing like the Hulk in front of him? No, there's just so many picture opportunities. But did you order any of them
from the Ahsoka one?
All 3. I've ordered all 3. I've ordered all 3 because I just couldn't resist.
I thought of an easy repack already.
What's that?
You know the cannon. So you put the cannon and you put a pirate and you put it on the little levitation pad with a clear stand from the 2nd episode of The Mandalorian, where he first meets IG-11. And but you know, it's the same. It's the same E-Web cannon, so won't take much molding. Put a little base on it. Done. You're welcome, Hasbro. For free.
What I don't understand is they also announced the Black Series Boba Fett and also Fennec Shand. But we already knew Fennec Shand was coming because she leaked as a part of the wave that also had Pob Dababa, Dr. Evazan, the Stormtrooper, Princess Leia. That wave was already, we're aware it's coming. And then they randomly gave us all the shots of Fennec. It's like, why?
But this time we're serious.
It's like she's coming, and here's some pictures now.
And this time it's personal.
Because it genuinely. Jacob's gone. I've just realized Jacob's gone. It confused people because when I was like on the groups with people were going, so is Fennec Shand in the wave and also released separately? I'm like, no, don't be silly. She's in the wave, but just everyone thought, is she being released separately as well? Because of the way that they sort of announced it.
I was glad we didn't get a retro figure of her, but now I'm very convinced that we're going to get a Boba Fett retro collection wave. And I think that's I was like, why is Boba Fett's helmet not removable? But then I worked it out is because there'll be a unmasked Boba Fett retro collection figure.
I very almost pre-ordered Fennec just because I wanted to pop the head off and put it on a
Marvel Legends body by any chance.
Yep, and standing next to Coulson. Yeah. Just slowly building out that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wave, just slowly independently building out. But the reason I didn't is I wasn't overly sold on the head sculpt. I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that good. I think she's a very attractive actress or actor, and I just don't think it done her justice, if that makes sense. I just think it, like, you could tell who it was, but it just didn't. When you compare it to some of the things like the like Hugh Jackman Wolverines and stuff, like it just, I didn't think it did her justice. It's good. I probably still will pick it up.
In terms of Star Wars, I was ready to say that was the sculpt of the year for Star Wars. To be honest, for Star Wars,
oh really?
I think that was looking at those pictures. I thought that might be the sculpt of the year. Genuinely looked. It genuinely looked like Ming Na Wen to me.
Yeah, no,
100%. See 100%. The owl in the Ahsoka set.
I said it. See, I said it. Yeah, I saw the owl. I saw the owl.
That
owl
was spot on. It was a hoot.
Oh, he's done it. Was that it for Star Wars though? Was there any other Star Wars figures?
Yaddle.
There was just obviously the Boba Fett got announced as well, but obviously everyone's really upset about it because he's got blue trousers, and he shouldn't have blue trousers.
I just feel that they're going to really milk it.
Jacket.
Well, I think they're going to really milk it. I think that you look at what they did with the Mandalorian. How many Boba Fetts have we had now? Like, it's just
how many Boba Fetts have we had already, and it's the exact same
one. I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Now they've got a variant to play with.
I don't know. Boba Fett to me was the same as a lot of Star Wars fans, because he wasn't a main character when it originated and stuff, and became such a kind of cult icon, and then obviously had so much kind of grow from him, become this cult icon. I don't know. I just feel like they're flogging him too much now. I'm really excited for the series, but just don't overdo it with the toys. Like,
it's difficult because, like, if you're I guess what you are with Marvel and Star Wars, so like reading a lot of the comic lines and stuff like that. Now, Boba Fett's had a very, very strong comic presence for years, and it's interesting. You are right about the flogging thing, because Boba Fett's been really consistent in the comics for so long, and obviously now when Disney bought Star Wars, they basically erased all the continuity and said, like, that's Legends now. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Keep it Christmas relevant. You're welcome. So that's all gone. They brought him back, but have they brought him back?
Sorry,
a broken ash already. AFK, away from keyboard. Because
it was the voice. I'm sorry, it was the voice.
It was spot on.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Ryan's film fact of the week. Did you know that voice is actually the voice of Jon Favreau, beloved director of The Mandalorian, which is related to the subject we're talking about now. Thank you for watching.
And the director of Iron Man 1 as well.
I've heard about that. Heard it's a good film.
That's all right. It started a pretty big franchise.
Yeah, it's big in Japan. But the Boba Fett thing, like, you're right, the oversaturation is coming because the Mandalorian. We've already talked about how many of this beautiful face that we've seen in figure form already. We've got Mud Mandalorian, we've got Snow Mandalorian, we've got Casual Friday Mandalorian, we've got so many Mandalorians.
You got Beskar, you got non-Beskar, like, I think it is. I think you're going to get so many Boba Fett, which is cool in a way that, everyone. I remember when I first got into Black Series, it was like I wanted a Boba Fett, and it was quite hard to get hold of one to start with, like, because you obviously had the San Diego. Yeah, well, that's the one I ended up getting. I ended up getting the carbonized one, and I was like, you know what, I'm happy with that because it works, and it kind of, for my very small Star Wars collection now, that's what I've got. I've got it next to the Han in Carbonite. Carbonite. Is that what they call it? Yeah, Carbonite.
Yeah,
carbonized Boba Fett. Like, that's a nice little setup for me. But no, I'm massively hyped for the show. I am massively hyped for the show, and for those collectors, I hope that they give Star Wars collectors everything that they want. It's not a great start, like you say, with the blue pants, but
I think
Jake with the message of hope there. I hope it gives everyone what they want.
just as a random thing, I've got a sneaking suspicion that I know it's called the Book of Boba Fett. I don't think he's going to be in it all that much, personally.
No.
I think it's going to be more about the Shannick Fenn character and about some of the Underlord, other smaller characters that they're going to introduce to us, because we already know who Boba Fett is. Why would they spend an entire season just talking about Boba Fett taking over Tatooine? Why? They need something that's going to propel the franchise forward, which to me would be introduce new characters.
Do you want to know my theory?
What's that? Go for it.
I think the Book of Boba Fett, based on what we've seen in the trailers, I think it's going to be some kind of new, not martial law or anything like that, but when he takes over the throne, it's going to be the thing that he creates is going to be the Book of Boba Fett. Do you know what I mean? That these are the rules. This is what you have to do or don't do. And then for whatever reason, he's not going to be in the series. And it's about the people following that Book of Boba Fett, as in almost like a Ryan's broken, but almost like kind of not a Bible or something like that, but you know, like in that sense, in the sense of the kind of rules a book. So because straight away when I heard the name, I thought of that film, The Book of Eli. Remember The Book of Eli? That film?
Yeah.
And that was the reference straight away. I was kind of like, oh, Book of Boba Fett, Book of Eli, and obviously that's very biblical, and it's all about that, you know, the last copy and all that kind of stuff. And I think that this is what this is going to be. I think it's going to be that he puts down some kind of law, some kind of this is the way kind of thing, and it's people's variations on what that is. Well, I'm following the Book of Boba Fett, but they're doing something very different to somebody else following it. That's my take on it. That
sounds good, because we are only 2 weeks away, and they've shown us very little. They've shown us very little. Nothing. It would be cool if everything we've seen is in episode 1, and then you're left at the end of it going, oh my god, we've not seen anything going forward. What is next?
So speaking of Book of Boba Fett, there could be some argument that the Book of Boba Fett is right here.
The Mandalorian book.
Put this in here.
Go and push your little button.
Live special effects on the Geek Week in Review. I like it.
Do you also have the Book of Sith, the Book of Jedi, and all the other ones? No,
Bitch, please. Of course,
yes, please.
This is Ryan.
That's
like asking me if I've got an Iron Man figure. Come on.
Did you see the new one, the Book of Rogue or something? They called it something stupid, like the Rogue one.
What?
They've released a couple more of them now.
I've got the Rebel Files.
I've got
the Imperial Codex, the Smuggler's Code,
the
Jedi Code,
that's the one.
Bounty Hunter Code. This was the difficult one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total.
So do you need
Rebel Code?
When I go to Galaxy's Edge in March, do you need me to bring you back the Batu one?
The Batu one? What's that?
There's one that's only available in Galaxy's Edge called the Book of Batu. It goes with them. It's a brown book. But it's got Batu on it, the trading outpost, the rules of the trading outpost, basically. It's the rules of a smuggler.
When are you going?
I'm going in March. Do you need me to bring that one back for you?
Yes, please.
No worries, dude.
Right.
I'll get you.
It's a live transaction. Everyone who's listening. This is how the Geek Week in Review works.
Sorrel puts it out. Ryan takes it in.
I knew as soon as you were talking, I'm like, I bet you haven't got the newest one imported yet. Because it came out about October time. It's called the Smuggler's Book or something, and it's like a brown cover, and it's all the same colors of like the Galaxy's Edge sort of cover, like colorings, and it's got Batu on the front and the spires and all that good stuff.
Damn it!
Yep. Even I knew that was that, but I think that's just down to my Disney park knowledge.
Yeah.
But even I knew that one was out. But yeah, anything else Star Wars wise? Anything else Star Wars related? Oh, Eclipse. Star Wars Eclipse.
I've got a Transformer that's also Star Wars.
Nice.
Eclipse.
But Star Wars,
you didn't say new.
Star Wars Eclipse.
Eclipse.
So, new game. Game.
Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, we all saw the trailer for Eclipse.
Yes.
Did you see that there's that one segment which looks a lot like the Galaxy's Edge sort of walkway, doesn't it?
It was. They're tiny.
That was Galaxy's Edge. That was Batu.
They're bringing it into the
100%.
real Star Wars world.
100%. Because as well, you think about how many people are going to play that game that wouldn't necessarily think of going to Disney parks and all the rest of it. They're going to play that game, and then they're going to be like, I can actually go there. Like, I need to, and there'll be people that will book vacations based on playing that game. Guarantee you.
A lot of people have booked.
It looks
I
good
can't
though.
believe how many people have booked spaces for that special Star Wars, the hotel thing, the experience.
Oh yeah.
The numbers have gone up again. Like, it's
Sold
a lot
out,
of people have booked that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We sort of all laughed about the price, but I wonder if that appears in the Star Wars eclipse.
It will. I don't know. I don't know anything about this game other than the trailer. Like, I have no idea what. Yeah, I don't know anything at all. I mean, it looks cool, but obviously it's all cutscene kind of graphics.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So basically, it's made by the same people that made Heavy Rain, Detroit Human, and there's another game. Basically, they're all cinematic PS4 games that are heavily cinematic, and it's all press square now to do something. Like all quick time events.
Yeah.
So I think the game is going to be heavily cinematic with those kind of press square now to activate lightsaber. And all. I think it's going to be like that, which will annoy the crap out of me. But it's Star Wars, so I'm probably still going to buy it.
It's going to be good.
It looked like there was going to be so many different stories. There's a Switch game coming out. I remember it's called Star Wars Bounty Hunters or something. I can't remember
So the other game that's coming out is like a MOBA game. It's like
Home the Bounty or.
Yeah, so basically you play as like a team of 4 and you've all got different power. It's a bit Fortnite-ish, to be honest. And you're basically like in an arena-style battle.
It looks, again, the cinematic trailer they did for it looks amazing. Yeah. I will give it to them. People who do advertising for these, they know how to hook me in. I don't know what the game's, like you said, Jack, I've got no idea what the game's about. I don't know what the gameplay's like, but I'm in. I'm completely in.
I said 100%. as soon as that trailer dropped, I remember saying to everyone in my friends group, like, if they release those 6 figures, if they release them as action figures, I'm invested. I'll buy them. And if they release some form of arena style playset, I'm involved. I would buy that instantly because it screams Star Wars. There's some of the whole idea of it being like an arena and fighting, and I think that looks awesome.
Speaking of action figures, we did miss one release when we were talking about Hawkeye, and that was obviously the. Did we speak about those last week though?
The Hawkeye and the costumes. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We did. My bad. Scrap that. Scrap that. Last week kind of blurred in. So much has happened. Although, just bringing it back to Marvel and somehow Spider-Man as well. I got a notification that my Vulture is on the way, Deluxe Vulture release, which was obviously the one that they dropped recently. Now, I'm still convinced that the Vulture is going to show up in this film just because the figure is released at the same time. It's dropping literally, it's coming a couple of days before the film's out. I don't think the figure's going to give anything away, but I do think that he's in there. I'm just going to drop that in.
I think but that was be a big tie into it. I agree.
Yeah. The fact that he's in Morbius, I've said from the start, I think he's going to be in the film, but not in the same way you're thinking. I've got a feeling he's going to be in it, but he's going to be finding a way of 5
minutes tops.
I've got a feeling while Doctor Strange is doing the whole I need to stop them coming through thing, I've got a feeling that he's going to fly into it and go through it, and he's going to come out the other side and be in the Sonyverse and find Morbius. He's got to be in the film somehow, and that film takes place in a different universe to what MCU is in. So right now he's in the wrong universe to be in Morbius. So he's got to make the crossover at some point into the Spider-Verse to appear in Morbius if he's playing the same role.
You're in the wrong universe. Yeah.
But you've got to remember that in the Morbius trailer, we've seen we've seen reference to all 3 Spider-Men.
We do.
Which plays into my theory that we are going to have all 3 Spider-Men in the film. Morbius takes place post Spider-Man
in the MCU.
No Way Home. And that's why we see it. And the most interesting one for me is you've got Tobey Maguire's one graffitied on the wall with murderer written across the front. Now, we all obviously assume that meant it was to do with Mysterio, but what if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man does something that indicates that people see him as a murderer going forward? He doesn't catch MJ. He killed it. But anyway, no, we digress. But that's obviously we've talked about Marvel, we've talked about Star Wars. Was there anything else massive this week?
So there was loads on Star Wars again, sadly, just on Star Wars again for you. So the Disney Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel that Ryan touched on, they announced the heroes and villains that are going to be a part of the storyline. And of course, in true Disney fashion, there will be merchandising based upon these characters. I don't know if that means Black Series. All we know is that merchandising will happen. So we're going to see a bunch of Star Cruiser merch drop at some point in Disney World, hoping that means another 4-pack, because there are 4 characters. I'm hoping that means another 4-pack
that'd be cool.
Galactic Cruiser on it, because there is a new officer character, a new medic character, and so a couple of new droids as well have been artist rendered. And the droid looks pretty awesome. He's like a silvery orange color, which looks really cool. And there's a bunch of new sort of character designs that have been announced. The other robot is that, I can't remember, it's called D309, and he's a logistics robot, but you have seen it before on the Star Tours ride. He's one of those, do you remember the old Star Tours attraction where he used to go, mind the doors now, and it was like a fancy girl robot that had like blue, remember it? It's one of those droids. So D309 is one of those droids. So I'm guessing she's going to be at the front of the hotel, opening the doors, closing them, because in the ride, she was the one that said, mind the doors now, I'll help, come to Star Tours. So I've got a feeling she's like the greeter droid or something. And that's what D309 is going to be. So yeah, if they release those as Black Series, all over it.
That would be very
vintage collection, 3/3/4.
That would be very cool. That would be very cool. Speaking of merchandising and stuff, let's take a bit of a sideways step. Another one of Hasbro's brands, not necessarily a Hasbro product. Fortnite released their new chapter this week, or last week, and obviously the top level unlock is Spiderman, with like things like the Daily Bugle. Have you logged in and played it yet?
No, I haven't played for about a month now. To be honest, I've given up.
I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it since the Mandalorian story. To be fair, and neither's my son, but he went back in and played it because of the Spider-Man storyline. But me and my son both have this mentality that if it's not a character that uses a gun, it doesn't work in Fortnite. Yeah. Having Spider-Man running around wielding a sniper rifle just to me doesn't work. But for Ryan, I don't think you play Fortnite, but
I've never played Fortnite before in my life. I still don't understand what it is.
I'm just imagining
it's a really addictive game.
I'm just imagining Spider-Man like Jackson from Saving Private Ryan with a sniper rifle in some tower going, Jesus is my keeper. With great power comes great responsibility.
Essentially,
right now.
Essentially, Ryan, it is like a Hunger Games battle royale. You all get dropped in a map, and you got to run around. It's last man standing. So it's like very addictive.
Halo Online.
Basically, very similar. But all the characters are very like over the top and cartoons, but they've tied in with so many different franchises.
Freaking dances.
But
however, if you try and teabag anyone that you kill in Fortnite, you will get sniped. So don't bother trying.
Yeah,
I stick to Halo.
They put in various different characters. So the Mandalorian, for example, as a character was brilliant because him picking up a gun and running around with a gun works.
Yeah.
Putting a character like Spider-Man in doesn't really work.
Spider-Man with a gun is wrong.
Well, it's like when they did a
work
couple of seasons ago, well, about a good few years ago, they introduced a few Doctor Who things, and it didn't work because obviously Doctor Who doesn't ever use a gun. So they couldn't ever use the Doctor, so they introduced a Cyberman and something else. And it was like, it just felt really weird having a Cyberman walk around with a gun. It's like, it doesn't work.
They have guns in their wrists, but
they've introduced characters like characters from The Walking Dead, characters from the Terminator series, from Predator. Alien. Yeah. Wow. So there are so many that really work, and it was great fun playing. But there's part of me that really wants to play it because you've got the Daily Bugle in it as a building that you can obviously go in and search and everything. And Spider-Man is like a top tier, like basically it's like 100 levels, and you work your way through the game to get them. And as you get to level 100, that's when you unlock Spider-Man, or you unlock him at level 90 or something, and then you get a symbiote suit at level 100.
Or you can spend $44.95 and unlock him immediately.
Oh yeah, spend like a stupid amount of money. Yeah,
$44.95 to get level 100.
That's a whole game.
I know.
I know. But it's
people do it, mate. People do it because Fortnite is the game is huge.
It is huge, but I am I really want to play it because it's Spider-Man, but I really don't want to play it because it's Spider-Man, if that makes sense. But my son did tell me one thing, and I haven't played it, so I don't know how legitimate this is because I'm, basing this off of a 9-year-old's kind of review. But he said that the mythic, so what you get is like mythic weapons, which are like, there's one in the map every time. And the mythic in this one is Spider-Man's web shooters. So you can swing using them, but you can't web people. You can't like web people up. So you shoot them and it doesn't web them up, but you can use them to swing. So I don't know. I might play. I might dip in and have a look. But it was a cool move to see Spider-Man. We've got a load of Marvel characters from the Marvel crossover. Obviously, we've got Venom and stuff like that. We've got Carnage recently. So to have Spider-Man's a nice addition.
I've got to say, your lad's on point though, because when I did my review of Sky, I looked it up. What you said about Sky being an Adventure Time style character, and he's 100% right. She was heavily influenced on adventure games. Adventure Time was the one that they influenced that design upon. They used a lot of the elements from the TV series in the character, and you can, once someone points it out to you, you can see the individual pieces that they've used. So he was 100% right.
Well, I'll get him in on one of the shows one week. Every week he's like, "Dad, can I join you for the Geek Week?" I'm like, "No, you're 9 years old. Go to bed." But he's obviously clued up, so we might get him in for him. So that was a little tie in there with Fortnite. Anything else massively happening in the world before we kind of run into the last kind of roundup?
Animaniacs, Super 7.
Yeah, we finally got them.
Yeah.
You obviously teased the idea of them last week. They look really cool.
I was bang on as well, because they said about the Acme Labs and stuff, that was Pinky and the Brain, and then obviously the water tower was the Animaniacs. So we're getting Wacko, Yakko, and Dot, who are the 3 Animaniac kids, and then we're also getting Pinky and the Brain. And I've got to admit, I've already been looking at the size of the characters, which are apparently 5 3/4 inches for Brain. So Pinky will be about 6. So I'm looking at a little silver cage to put them in with a wheel and everything.
Brilliant.
What we're going to do tonight, right?
Brilliant.
Mate, you have to have them in a cage on behind me on that display. I need to have them in a little cage.
That would be brilliant. That would be amazing.
I don't know. I can't help but watch when I watch Frasier in the mornings. It's always on in England on like Channel 4 in the morning. I can't help it with Frasier Crane. Just think of Brain every single time I watch it. I don't know why. Just constantly. He's going to be like, if they ever did a live action with the voiceover, that wasn't the original, it'd be him.
No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I love the fact that we had to specify England just in case anyone got confused where we were.
Well, I think it's important because if I said Channel 4, I mean, a lot of people, we know Channel 4, but in America, Channel 4 would probably be like, "Welcome to New York local weather. Here we have, Prude Hapley with blah, blah, blah."
I'm pretty sure from my extensive knowledge of being in America, I'm pretty sure in Florida at least, Channel 4 is the weather channel.
Yeah.
That's the channel I'm pretty sure that I flick onto and it goes, "There's been another tornado in Kansas."
Exactly. So if I sit there and go like, "Oh, on Channel 4, I think of Pinky and the Brain," I go, "Tornadoes?" They're not going to know what I mean.
On other news as well, we won't go into too much detail on them, but we are being spoilt with television at the moment. Obviously, on the various different streaming stations, we've got the new episodes of Lost in Space have dropped. I haven't watched any of them yet, so I don't want any spoilers. We've got The Witcher. The Witcher starts next week, I think it is. Henry Cavill. Can never say his surname. Cavill. Never say his surname. I'm really rubbish at pronouncing names, but
I love that man. I love that man more and more every single day. Every talk show he goes on, and he talks about that he collects Warhammer. He plays Dungeons and Dragons.
He's a huge geek.
YouTube video of him building a gaming PC.
He's an amazing guy.
He really is.
He missed the first call for playing Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got over on Netflix, we've still got the Titans season 3. I absolutely love the Titans show. Absolutely love it. I binge watched like the first 3 episodes and they are awesome. And obviously we've been introduced to the Red Hood, which is really cool. And we also had Camp Cretaceous as well. Camp Cretaceous series 4. And I don't know if you've watched any of it. Man, it took a sideways turn. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like episode 2 or 3, I was like, what? Like, I'm struggling at the moment because I'm like, this is so far from what it was. But I am wondering whether it's going to lead in to
the end of the labs. Where they do the labs and stuff. Yeah, it's so random.
I was just like, what
I'm
is
on
this all
episode
about?
8.
I wonder whether they're trying to make it link into Domination, because that's obviously due to come out very soon as well, isn't it?
I think so. And the other thing is, I think like it is a left turn, but I kind of get why they're doing it, because they've done 3 series of them being on Isla Nublar, and obviously, you know, they're dinosaur thing. So I guess what they're trying to do. But the thing is, weirdly, what's his name? Brad. Cash. You know, the Brad robots are one thing, but Cash is actually the villain I've hated most in the entire series. I really hate him, and but in a good way, as in like it's a really well written character, because I don't know people that are obviously programming robots to kill people, just throwing that out there now. But I've known people like him to see like these weird techno nerds with bad tattoos that are fundamentally just complete D-bags. I don't know why, but it's a villain type we've not seen for ages, who's got slightly bit of a double chin. You know, he thinks he's better than everyone else, and I don't know why. I'm just loving seeing a villain that I go like, I know this villain.
Yeah, yeah. You pointed at me there, Ryan.
I don't know where everyone is on the screen when you edit this. You can edit it so I look like pointing at Ash.
I'm only joking. But no, it's very cool. It's very cool. We are really absolutely spoiled for television at the moment. But I think we can go into detail on those maybe another time when we've wrapped them up and finished them. But is there anything else?
Season for Lost in Space, if I'm not.
Yeah.
There's a massive thing we've not discussed yet, and I can't believe it's dropped.
What?
Which is the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Hands up, I only watched the first one literally the other day because it came out on Netflix. I didn't go and see it at the cinema. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. So when I saw that trailer drop, I was like, yes.
Knuckles
I'm all in for that. All in for that. And Tails, obviously. I know we saw him at the post-credit scene in the first one.
Miles per hour.
I'm not digging Knuckles' voice though.
Are you not? See,
I'm not too much on that. They've changed him a lot over the years, haven't they?
I've not heard enough yet.
That's not the Knuckles I remember as a kid, but it is from the modern depiction of the games. They have given Knuckles that accent and voice. So, yeah. But it's not the Knuckles I remember from the 90s, but it's the modern depiction of Knuckles. Let's say that.
It's a very cool film, a very cool kind of film franchise. So, yeah, I'm excited to see the second one. You know, I think that it's really heavy into the kind of gaming. One other thing while we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, if you really want to kind of set your anxiety levels off, just YouTube the drowning music from Sonic the Hedgehog, because I forgot how intense that was.
Yeah, I play.
I forgot how kind of like, you know, no wonder so many people in our generation kind of suffer from anxiety when you grew up playing games like that. Like, you know, literally you're under the water and it's like,
I still play my Sega Mega Drive all the time. Like, I love my Sega Mega Drive, and I still, to this day, I'm a 30-odd-year-old man, and I will be sitting there, and we've been through a lot in the last sort of few years. That still, when that goes, I panic. I genuinely panic. I go, I need to find a bubble. I need to find a giant bubble. Yeah. And I'm like, dun, 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 and it's like, what? I'm like,
whop.
And the music starts again. My mate was convinced he was saying want for the years. I go, want one?
I still to this day, when I play it, see how close I can get before, like you kind of back and forth to the bubble. It's just like, yeah, I'm a pro. Look at this. Like, I can do this all day.
Chemical plant zone, when you had to get on the little steps that were going up and down. Those weird block steps, and it was like dun, 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 dun. No. Yeah.
I love it. Another thing I just want to say, I really hope we see Supersonic in this, where he goes yellow and just powers up massively. Give us Supersonic.
The other thing that dropped this week was Disney Insider, their new episode. I think it's the 112. It's like 100 something. It's ridiculous anyway. But yeah, Disney's Insider. Did you see that this week on Disney Plus? Are you fans of that program?
No, I didn't catch it.
So basically, every week they do like a different thing about what's going on in the Disney company. And this week they focused on the Black Series group.
Oh, nice.
And they were showing us how they made Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, because both of those obviously dropped this week as a part of our press releases and stuff. And they actually did a whole episode dedicated to like how the Black Series is made, as well as the Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary merch. But they did like a full half an hour on like Boba Fett. This is why he like pivots here, and it was very clever how they showed you it.
Oh, wicked.
Like they showed off like all the joints and stuff, like why they bend that way, and like why does the knee bend at that certain angle. They kind of went on these like proper, like the guy who did it showed you all these things, and it was so intricate. It was like showing you how the figure fully like moves and things. It was so clever.
That is really cool. That is really cool.
Yeah, they kind of explained a lot about what Disney's going to be releasing for the 30th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast as well, which is coming up in the new year. There's a whole load of merchandise coming up for Beauty and the Beast by the looks of it.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite Disney films. It's a weird gripe, I know, but I have one slight gripe with the Beauty and the Beast because it is a childhood favorite of mine. But so years and years and years ago, when the blue case Disney DVDs came out, and it was really a thing to try and get them and stuff when they came out. They did a special edition of Beauty and the Beast, and it had a song that was originally restored, which is Human Again. Yeah. And it is a beautifully animated sequence. It's a great song, but it's just not in other versions. And I have to really struggle
because of timing.
But the thing is, I don't get is because they spent all that money restoring it, and it was made a big deal about the guy being who's passed away, and we're restoring this big thing. And they've just not put it in, and it is such a great song. And like, so when I got it, I got it on DVD, and it was on Disney Plus. I ended up spending a lot of money and time trying to find this very particular edition of the DVD, which is the blue case special edition. Yeah, it's what it is for anyone watching who wants to know.
My wife's got a big fan.
Yeah, and it is the definitive version in my opinion, because I think it's a beautiful song, and it's an odd thing to not.
You can
after you put that much effort in.
You can just watch that song on YouTube, though, you know.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I'm still waiting for a version of.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I completely get it. I do completely get it.
That song is very. That song, I don't know why it was cut from the original, because it is very. It's important to the film. Like they're all getting excited because they're going to be human again, and I like the way they do it.
We'll be human again.
It makes but as an adult, it makes the film a lot more. It makes you a lot more invested in the characters. But I think as a young person, as a child watching it, it's an easy one to cut because they don't need to know it. But as an adult watching it, I think I really like the fact that that's there. So as an adult, I can appreciate a different level of that film than I did as a young person, as a child.
The big thing about what Disney Insider on the program was saying about Beauty and the Beast was this was the first film where they made it where the prince needs the princess, not the other way around. It's not some girl waiting in a tower to be saved. This was the first time where the Disney princess was like her own character, and she didn't need saving. She saved the beast. You know what I mean? And if you look at every other Disney film that has come after it, they followed that sequence. Pocahontas saved John Smith. She showed him something that he didn't know. It was all of them. Tangled, it was more about her saving Flynn from his life of thievery and things like that. All of the princesses have had more of a role since Belle. And they made like a big deal of showing you. And it was like, I didn't realize personally until you kind of see it in front of you like that. And it's like, wow, it's like you see it all. And they showed you right up until Frozen, where they were sort of like saying it was more about the sisters than the prince, and the prince was the villain. And it's like, I like that. It was very cool how they showed you how they've evolved from Cinderella waiting for a Prince Charming to come save her to all these.
Week in review. We can talk about this. Here we are, Geek Week in Review. We've gone from Spider-Man to talking about the importance
Disney princesses.
It's important though. It's a big thing. Even Disney's now a big part of geek culture.
And that is
Geek Week in Review.
That is what we do. On that very beautiful note, I think that's a good place to end, because I don't think we're going to.
I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to actually put one last thing in. I'm really sorry.
Go on in. The Sorrel has set the bar at the.
I know.
It's go on in.
Okay, I'm going to put in 3 first names here that are going to make you go, we missed something important this week. Jason, David, Frank.
Okay.
Oh, the Legend of the
White Dragon.
The trailer. Because I'm pretty sure when I watched the trailer earlier, I'm pretty sure I saw a couple other Power Ranger alumni in there sneaking in the back. Because I'm pretty sure I saw one of the Red Ranger from Time Force in one of the background one of the shots.
Okay. Well, it's a Bat in the Sun production, isn't it? It's like a crowdfunded film that they've obviously, exceeded their backing, and the production value on it looks really good. But
are you telling me that if that is successful and it sells a load on the internet, you're telling me that Hasbro are not going to buy that up and Saban are not going to buy that thing up in seconds?
You know,
because they want
there was a really cool thing
right.
though, that certain backers, I don't know what number it was, but a certain amount of the backers got a replica of the helmet as a tier.
Really?
Yeah, so there are a handful that got that helmet, which is cool. I don't know. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to become a massive cult phenomenon that a lot of the mainstream fans are going to turn their back on, or it's going to, like you say, become something that Saban, Hasbro are going to have to buy into because it's changed the course of the Power Rangers kind of mythology. But I'm really excited to see it. I'm really excited.
Either way, people are going to be customizing the white tiger.
Oh,
Power Ranger
know
to make
that.
So Hasbro are gonna have to, even if it's rubbish, even if it's absolute garbage, people are there's still going to be enough people out there that are going to customize that figure to warrant them making it. It's like when they first did Tommy as the villain. I keep forgetting his name, Lord Dracon. It took them a while to make that figure. It wasn't an overnight process. People customized figures for years of him, and then all of a sudden they dropped him as that PowerCon exclusive thing with the whole throne and stuff.
I'm gonna start going through my bits now because I'm gonna make myself a white dragon. There's 100. That's 100% on the board now, right?
Oh yeah,
that's on the
white. It's the white tiger.
That is on the card. That is on the card. You know what? I haven't got any Power Rangers Lightning collection anymore, but I have a figure that would work for it. Watch this space. Right. Let's call it a week there, guys, because the next time we record, we would have all seen Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm very, very excited for next week's episode already. Obviously, if you are listening on podcasts, and please do download, share, like, all of those things. We are creeping around on the podcast channels. We're not breaking any records yet, but we have got a number of regular listeners. So if you are one of them, it is very much appreciated. And if, of course, you're a new listener, then please do share it because we like doing a podcast. I think the podcasts are cool. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Check out the description below for Super Sorrell's channel. If you don't follow him already, make sure that you do. And of course, Ryan Speaks Geek. Check out for his channel as well and give the guy a follow. But I think that's about everything, gents. You agree?
Yep.
Good stuff. I know what Ryan's waiting for. He's waiting for me to say it. So until next time, keep it geek.
Keep it geek.
Yeah.
The Geek Week in Review.